You know, every now and then I'll get a response. Every blue moon, most of them very, very, very positive, man, motivating, and love the comments, man, on the videos, on the one social media I'm on. And, just in general, the emails I get, very inspiring, man, very inspiring. But every now and then I'll get a, you know, comment on the fact that it's just me in my video solo, or I'm talking about getting a girl, you know what I mean, getting that queen, or talking about things I'm trying to accomplish in life or headquarters and things of that nature. And the thing is that every now and then it's almost like, oh man, he's by himself, he's by himself, he's by himself. You know what I mean? And they feel some type of way about it. And I respect that, you know what I mean? The thing is that you gotta understand that, even as we have, this helicopter passing by, you know what I mean? Everything has a spiritual message. Everything has a spiritual message. And so the spiritual message that I want to deliver today is that, to those that may feel like, hey, well, he's by himself, or, feel like that I'm on this journey alone, you got to understand one thing. My story is one of victory. My story is one of victory. I've overcame a lot of hurdles in life, you know. I've made a lot of accomplishments, man, and and a lot of us can say those same things, things that we have been through, things that we have, hurdles that we have climbed, challenges that we have faced, and we overcame them. So mine is one of victory. Mine is one of victory, and I'm very proud of myself, very proud of, how far I've came. I'm very proud of where I'm heading to. Very proud, man. I'm honored. I love being me, love being me. And that's a loud statement. It's a loud statement. I love, what my future looks like. I love, what tomorrow looks like. I love today. Another beautiful day, man. Another beautiful day. And so, my story is one of victory, man. One of victory. I remember I used to be in church. My mom used to make us go to church all the time, right? And the thing is, she would make us go to church. And when I was in church, thing is that I remember it was kind of like a fashion show. That's kind of way it was. Just I'm only speaking on the church I went to, right? Kind of like a fashion show. Not that no people wasn't listening to the messages. Not that they wasn't, tuned in and dialed in to, what the message was from the minister that day or anything like that. But it was definitely one of, what everybody's wearing today. What everybody's wearing today. It was important, right? So I was sitting in the balcony, sit in the balcony, man, and kind of just, take in, the message of the day. Just whatever you're trying to, whatever you want to speak about, whatever it is you want to deliver for today. I ignored everything else. I blocked everything else out. And, I never was one of those that was a Bible carrying type of individual or anything like that. I was just one of those types that, really, really like to learn. I always was like that, even as a kid. I always like to learn. I always want to grow. And so, my thing was always about the message. But, considering, my background, you know what I'm saying? And it's not just being impoverished. It's not just that. It's not just being, some of the other things that I will not discuss. It's not even that. It's about how you respond, how you take it in, how you react, how you let it affect your life, how you grow from it. So I took everything and grew from it. I took everything as, like I said, a spiritual message and something to grow from, you know what I mean? And as a result, I was able to get a smile, I was able to get a laugh. I was able to enjoy life, despite. And the thing is, when you're talking about teenagehood, you get into your 20s, your 30s, and beyond, you know, every, phase of life has its own, rewards, and it has its own, pitfalls. And one thing why I say I'm so proud is because, you know, it's not me getting this far. No, no. I'm going all the way. I'm going all the way. It's not that. It's not even the accomplishments I've made. It's not even the setbacks I've had. It's not even the heartaches I've had, the heartbreaks I've had. It's not even some of the pain I've endured, some of the joys I've endured, happiness, sexual gratifications I've endured. It's, experience. Enjoy it, No, it's bigger than that. It's always about the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, our lives being one of victory. One of victory. Did we fold in a moment? Did we give in? Did we, consolidate all of the knowledge that we learned? Did we, put together a life Rolodex, something we can refer to, And so mine is definitely one of victory. One of victory. And, I sometimes just full disclosure, there are times, that you can have the greatest life going on. And for whatever reason, being human beings, you could wake up one day and all of a sudden something just seems off. Just seems off, man. Or you wake up that day and you just started questioning certain things. For whatever reason. For whatever reason. And those are spiritual things thrown in, into the soup, just to kind of, change the course of things, and maybe, throw a wrinkle in time. And I've been blessed that as a child, I did recognize that. And so I was able to always, bypass that and not let it affect my everyday life. And so, I'm very proud of myself, man. I'm very proud. And when I had the biggest setback of my life, as of late, I did not know how I would come back from it. I did not know, if I could come back from it. I didn't know if my life would just be in shambles forever, you know what I mean? I didn't know if I would just be in heartache, heartbreak, all these things, for the long haul. I didn't know what I was going to do. I've always been a person who believes in achieving, who believes in myself achieving. And I only speak about my life and how I see things and the tunnel vision that I have, because I live in my own bubble. I live in my own bubble. And, you heard me talk about sometimes your bubble can be burst. And when it's burst, it's not as easy as it seems to, engage into a new bubble. You know what I mean? Because once that bubble is burst, now you got all this contamination come in, everything comes in, regular life, equations come in, and now you got to get all that stuff back out, clean it out, you know what I mean? and then get this new bubble going, And it's not easy. It is so not easy, man. And yet, I'm doing that. I'm successfully doing that. So definitely want a life. My story is definitely one of victory. My story is one of victory. And I think that all of us have a story of victory. I think that, if we're able to even see this video, that's a victory. If we're able to, be able to go and do things we want to do, that's victory. If we have, things, the kind of life that we want to live, even if it's just on a small equation, just a fraction of it, it's a victory. It's a victory, And me, I'm going for the whole enchilada. I want it all. I want it all, and I'm not willing to sacrifice everything to get it. I made the mistake of, putting my goals before everything. I did make that mistake, but one thing I never did was willing to, trample over others to get there. I was never willing to do that. And I was never willing to just sacrifice, certain things that I'm strong in, my beliefs in. And I'm not talking about necessarily spiritual beliefs. You know, I'm not a religious person, not at all. But I'm just talking about my life beliefs. And the reason I developed those life beliefs is because of the fact that, again, because of my background. You know, if I'm going to be learning all these things and I'm going to be experiencing all these things, and, you know, it reminds me so much of people I met, you know, coming up. And it might be the girl whose mom was an alcoholic, you know, or father was, you know, had a drug situation or whatever. And they was just the opposite. They wouldn't touch it. They wouldn't touch it, man. They just, you know, they wanted to be the opposite. And they made their minds up and they was committed. You know, devoted themselves to schools, making all A's, and it was an amazing thing. But you know, it's kind of a similar scenario where I was writing down internally all of these different lessons I was learning, and from that I developed a life outline of what to do and what not to do. You know, what I wanted and what I didn't want, and how I wanted things to go and how I didn't want them to go. And so when I say things of belief and structure, that's what I'm referring to. I'm referring to my personal outline from my life experiences. You know, who wants to repeat a bad time? Who wants to repeat a bad experience? And who wants to not learn from what they've experienced and been around and grew up around, you know? And so I took that and I made me a life, you know, outline, and that's the life outline I've lived by. I will say that I feel like sometimes that I could have went outside those lines a little bit, you know, probably had a little extra fun, you know, had some fun, but I could have had a lot more fun had I went outside those, you know, guidelines and things of that nature. That is a slight regret I have. I do have regrets for that, you know, because again, just like I put my goals before everything else, I also put those guidelines before anything else. And I think that was not the right exact course to take on everything. You know, most things, sure, save you some anguish, keep you out of trouble, keep you going in a certain direction, true. But what about, you know, personal pleasure? You know, what about love? What about this? What about that? And sometimes those things have to take precedence, you know what I mean? And then you can kind of filter back in, you know, the other parts of yourself and make it all become gel and become one. But at some point, you do sometimes maybe have to step outside of the guidelines that you have set for yourself. And sometimes you set those guidelines to make sure you don't get hurt. And once I learned that you still can get hurt, then that really was the real big educator for me. That was the biggest educator of them all, to let me know that, you know, I needed to tweak some things. You know what I mean? I needed to tweak some things. And that's why you hear me talk about the last year reinventing myself, because I needed to tweak some things, because I was off a few fractions on a few things. And so, you know, got that in tune now, got that in line now. But yeah, man, my story is one of victory, man. My story is one of victory, and I'm very honored, you know, being me. I'm very honored, man, you know, from my name, you know, to the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I carry myself, you know what I mean? And more than anything, what I really love about me personally is my level of respect for others. I love that, man. I love respecting others, man. Even those that might not respect me, you know what I mean? I still love the fact that I'm not, that's something I'm not never gonna budge on. I'm not. Because I feel like every human being deserves a level of respect. And I really love the fact that, you know, I don't mind honoring, you know, other human beings' accomplishments, their ability to get up every day and try. You know what I mean? I think that's a huge thing. And see, by honoring others, we're honoring ourselves. That's just how I feel. That's how I feel. So as misguided as I may be in my thinking in that, that's just one of those lines I'm not going to ever blur. But other things I've definitely learned my lesson. But definitely my story is one of victory, man. And I'm looking forward to, planting my flag in a lot of areas of life. I am, you know. And so we can go through life, man, and have the greatest moments, have the greatest accomplishments and, achieve the greatest heights. But if we don't, acknowledge that our lives are one of victory, then we're kind of not giving ourselves the respect, right? The self-respect that we deserve. So, here's to, life, the beautiful life that is out there. Here's to the beautiful life that's available. Here's to living our best life. Here's to just, beauty in general. And here's to, knowledge, man, growth, you know what I mean? And building and love and romance and just living, you know what I mean? Even this beautiful flower that sits in front of me, man, it's amazing. It's an amazing sight that I'm in right now, man. And I'm gonna kind of fan around, see if you kind of see a couple of things, and maybe see a couple of these things, man. It's nature, man. It's nature. Nature is beautiful, man. Nature is beautiful, and I'm just, I don't have any words and to say thank you, for allowing me, to live and that life and be able to have my eyes wide open to see the beauty of life. And so therefore, I'm able to see the beauty of a woman, see the beauty of friendship, see the beauty of, growth, see the beauty of success, my personal success only, not society success, personal success, and just see the beauty of life in general, man. I'm honored, man, So definitely one of victory, and is definitely something I look forward to continue to live and grow and build on each and every day. This is the Imperfect Myth, and I'm gonna holler at you guys later on. Stay up.